Continuation of the former video. As an example, many or most assume we are with too many humans on this planet. We do not agree simply because there are efficient solutions and opportunities to prosper in peace, or many or most assume that facts tell us that our challenges grew and/or are growing and becoming a threat. Consequently, many or most should know we need action, and because of the scale also an action plan. But we have no action going on, and we do not have an action plan, and despite this, A. Nobody gels that we have no action plan and that we urgently need one. B. Or gel straight away some ready action plan from the rooftops. FAO, which is a part of the United Nations organization, that globally studied, proposed and occasionally defended agroforests, etc. A. To protect, restore and promote sustainable use of ecosystems and combat climate change. B. Claims that agroforestry emerges as a promising solution by leveraging nature-based approaches to mimic natural ecosystems, combining trees with annual crops. C. Claims that agroforestry offers a way to stand against climate change. Possibly they do not bring it sufficiently as a global action plan, or not enough as a general dedicated solution for climate and other global challenges. Despite this huge support also of FAO, the efforts did not get attention, nor did the efforts achieve the action needed. Or should we conclude that in practice we humans are blind for challenges and solutions? If you read just one of FAO's national action plans, one for North Korea, you see how important forests are and how important their beneficial roles are. But as said, apparently humans just do not connect it to the actual majority of non-forest areas, even when most of the world once was forested, and telling me before the conflicts, problems, challenges, epidemics and calamities began. One of the few activists that at some point came up with something of an action plan involving trees, forests is Greta Thunberg, and we do not mean at all the school strikes. As most others, Greta Thunberg thought there is too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. She connected that challenge and potential source resource with trees that absorb carbon dioxide, and uttered and defended a kind of embryonic action plan, this while interestingly backed by a scientist forest specialist. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere obviously is a potential source for renewables, food, fuels, materials and alternatives for oil derivatives, but almost nobody seems to even think about this, indicating we are blind for its potential as well as possible solutions for it. But next, this approach of Greta Thunberg and that one scientist disappeared from the media, possibly because they got no or not sufficient response, or because of pressure in other eventual less pragmatic or less proven directions, which could illustrate that also the young and activists are kind of anesthetized or brainwashed, or do not sufficiently see or support or get support for the potentials and solutions. NASA research shows for years that forests and other vegetation forms suck out, absorb in the atmosphere accumulated carbon dioxide in a matter of months, and tropical forests achieve this in less than 12 hours. But also this does not get attention or reaction, at least no suggestion or proposal of an action plan. Nobody, or rather no significant voice or entity, comes up with an action plan, or at least one that gets the needed distribution, providing the possibility to check. We claim we provide the most complete action plan currently, free and publicly available, and this in several languages. Things get worse when a voice like Bill Gates claims that trees are not efficient and that defending that trees and forests are efficient is a sign someone is stupid, this without any scientific justification and obviously negating the obvious extreme efficiency shown by NASA research. Things get worse again, or even more, when Sabine Hossenfelder judges Bill Gates is right. Sabine Hossenfelder more or less represents the scientific community, and she amplifies the atrocity committed by Bill Gates. While Bill Gates got bad comments in the media, Sabine Hossenfelder did not get bad comments at all, and that shows us the scientific community is a herd too, and not awake and not sufficiently or relevantly informed, aware, in this important matter. In contrast, in Amazon Amerindian communities everybody is and was historically actively involved in a total and all-encompassing action plan without complaints, and if it is something obvious or sacred to do. Their ancients or ancestors, at least before their collapse somewhere around or before 1500 BP, built up, and left, unique self-regenerating carbon-rich soils, with adsorbed carbon dioxide, that support the forest above that on its turn absorbs and distributes all in the atmosphere accumulated carbon dioxide in less than 12 hours, evidenced year after year in NASA research. Scientists still are not sure how they managed to do this and how many hundreds or rather thousands of years this process of carbon-rich ADE soils formation must have taken place. If we are indeed cognitively superior to Neanderthals and Denisovans, which most probably we are in regard to our needs and our understanding, then most probably our real superior cognitive related areas are located elsewhere and not recognized yet, or are the ones that are not knocked out in us modern humans and knocked out in other groups or species. If we also would be cognitively superior to the ancient Amazon Amarins, which most probably we are when we look at it in function of our needs and our understanding, then once again most probably our real superior cognitive related areas are located elsewhere and not recognized yet. But their needs were and probably still are quite different, the same for what they value as cognitive superiority. As pointed out, cognitive superiority is something very relative. To complicate matters and to give it an additional dimension, Amazon Amarins have amongst them many individuals with university degrees and that are more successful in things more attributed to non-Amerindians, this despite not enjoying the education and health care non-Amerindians enjoy. Our arguments for our claims are very well supported by most if not all of the most scientific relevant markers and evidence, and these paint a clear picture of the puzzle. Consensus negates or distracts from many of these markers because they are inconvenient for their hypotheses, and prove them improbable, which further disincentivizes scientists to use these essential and only relevant scientific markers. As long as this will happen, the general public will not see a clear picture of the puzzle from their part and will not become aware of challenges and solutions from their part and not actively participate in any relevant action plan. Unless of course the general public finds its own way, as on this channel, to be informed about what is important for individual, collective and global health, life and existence.